right, Deniz Kabuloglu. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, exactly. It's very phonetical. It's from Turkey, so it's Kabuloglu, just like how you would read it.
Oh, great. Okay, it's a bit long name, but a
Always.
very
From when I was little, it was like bubulubu, like always. But I love it. Like even now that I'm married and I'm about to like, whenever I get my green card, I'll change my name to the married one. As all my art is still gonna always be Kabuloglu, and also like a kind of like heritage to my father because my brother didn't have sons, so the last name is gone.
Oh,
So
okay.
I think it's a really nice thing to keep like the name.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for joining us here.
Thank
We
you. I'm so honored to be here, Todd.
Oh, you're another artist that I met in Houston when we used to live there, and it's probably at the same gallery that I've been mentioning in the other interviews. So you may know some of the other folks that I've interviewed as well. But I remember you coming into one of the opening night receptions and putting these really cool pieces up on the wall, and I'm fascinated by what you create nowadays, which is uh, so different from what I do. I find the thing that kind of drives me crazy is that a lot of my paintings are really dense, and I just keep going and I fill it in and I fill it in, and then I
I love that, but I love that. I
well,
feel, yeah.
it's different, but but I have this desire to do something just minimalistic. So that's what I'm sort of trying to do up here on this piece, is try to like be constrained and a little
Yeah.
bit minimalist. And so I find that your drawings are just fascinating in that uh, they convey a lot of information with not too many lines, and you're able to really constrain the drawing. And how what is your process in creating those?
Well, I think I'm just lazy, first of all. But I think I remember a long time ago, I heard someone tell a story about how this about this other guy, and this other guy was like, he had all the tools in the world and everything at his disposal, like everything he wanted to do, and he was so like blocked. He didn't know what the hell to do. And and then I don't know, sort of like he started to like one day he was like, well, I'm just gonna like limit what I have. And then all his creativity started coming up and like being born. And I don't like, it made me think about my life and like coming from Mexico. Like I don't know, like there's just so many creative people there. Like I
Mm,
feel like whenever you, the less stuff you have, the more you have to do. So the like the less tools or the less material or the less like, it's like the more creativity comes. And
the
I don't
more
know.
it forces you to be creative.
Right. And but I don't know how that applies to like my simple art, because it came from a place of, I started like doing all these news like when I was younger, and it had like all these, like the teacher taught me like all these layers, and like you used to like pour like water and colors
Yeah.
and canvas, and I love that. And then when I arrived in Houston, I started putting all this like texture in it. It just became so much that one day I was just like, and actually it's funny because it has everything to do with my body, like because I was, it was, you remember, it was really big pieces and they were
Yeah.
so heavy. I was putting like ceramic and cement on them, and at some point my back, like I was doing them on the floor of my garage, which I
Hmm.
never really had a studio. I hope to have a studio one day. And then my back kind of like gave up, and then I had surgery, and then I was like, how could I, like I just started doing these simple drawings like in just one
Mm.
page. And sometimes I would be working in the middle of a work day, and I would just, I can't bear not to do art at all. Like it's been with me for so long, like it's such an important part of me that like it must be, it's something so strong because it never goes away, like it's
That's
part.
amazing. So
uh, so I started doing these little drawings in the middle of my workday because I was just like, I need to do something, and that's, I think that's how those illustrations started.
I I've gotten to the point where I feel, at least if not every day, then every weekend, I feel like I've got to create something else. It's kind of a wasted day, right? I mean, there's a lot of things you want to do in a day also, is like learn things and be a
Right.
little bit entertained and exercise. But if I leave out the creativity part, it's just there's something missing. It sounds like you're the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Like even Like I don't care where, like, or the materials, like the materials lately like have nothing anymore to do like about,
Mm.
like it's just where I do it. And it's just about just creating something.
Well,
And
so you have gone through such a transition in types of art, and maybe I don't know if you're still doing the textured pieces as much. It sounds like maybe not, but do you have
yeah,
any of the textured pieces that you could show us to give some to help
yeah, I,
our viewers here understand?
absolutely. I think I have one of the, like, come with me.
Okay.
And this is Lucas and Luther.
Love their sweaters.
This is something that I found on the street actually the other day, and we hung it. I just love ordinary everyday projects.
Yeah.
Like I'm starting. This is new. I'm just gonna give you like a quick tour while we go over there to see the texture ones. But
Yep.
like like even in my house, I like to experiment. Like these are like nailed on the, like I have no respect for anything. Like I just like to experiment. Like that you can see all those nails that look like I did something very strange. So I hung all these hearts for my husband on our anniversary. The ceiling was full of hearts. It was, now it's a mess. It needs to be cleaned, but it was just so, like, it's just so nice to just keep finding new ways to do whatever your heart like tells you that it wants, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the true artistic spirit there.
Well, I have this. This is a new one that I
Oh yeah.
made. That's a background I created like recently for my husband has these robes and for his like photos of his like uh food. But this is like, you can see like the texture there, and this is like a recent, oh sorry, this is like a recent one I created, but it kind of like, you can tell like that's what it used to be like before.
So those are physical objects. It looks like maybe some corks and
Yeah,
some
I started,
straws.
right, corks, because I started getting in a lot into like being worried about the environment and trying to be more eco-friendly and sustainable, and so I started saving all, not to get too many, but all the straws that I got. Like I saw, I'm sure you saw that video too about that poor like turtle that got stuck. So I was like,
Yep.
I'm gonna, and then I was like, well, I need to put them somewhere, so I made a painting with that. um and it's
And it
just
makes a statement with it. There's a meaning behind it then.
right. And I just, one time I was walking a long time ago and I found this uh tree and I grabbed it and then I put it on a canvas, and I like, it just, it's like I took it with me, and now this tree like lives forever in my mom's, and my, oh no, actually you, it's here. It used to be in my mom's, but I'd love for you to see this one too. um
I have a question. Do you ever collage with photos, or is it mostly found objects?
I have, let me show you
Yeah,
this
yeah,
over
definitely to see
there.
this one.
Yeah, like that's the tree. You can see like it's like,
Wow,
it's like
wow,
really
I
really
love that.
big
So that's
and
amazing.
small, or it's like
Oh yeah, it's big.
big. And then this
So
is
so Denise, so there it's new, but you seem to do a lot of art that you don't post unless I'm missing it on Instagram or something.
that's really old. These ones are like
Oh
part of the big ones. Yeah, like for example, these I made. So this is Io.
yes,
My character is like my alter ego. Io means I in Italian. I lived for a tiny bit in Italy, and so kind of like I represent some of stuff I like to do. So he appears in my art and in many ways.
it's a
And
consistent character. I'm so glad you brought that up because I see EO a lot in your drawings, and it's your character. It's your when I see that, I know that's a continuation of your story, and it's from you.
yes, exactly. He appears so many places.
And
And
you've created a mask of EO too, I know, or at least more than one, probably.
yeah, it was. I had a couple of ones, and the one I love the most, and I can, let me share the screen.
Yeah,
So
let's share.
um okay.
I love this tour, by the way. This is really great. So
um
there's EO in the middle, right?
right, here's you, and there's some like I want like here's the mask. You can see
Yep.
was like very tough to make. My mom is an inspiration to me so much, and she always gives me the best ideas too. And we, when I was creating it, I started putting like all these materials with it. Started becoming this heavy thing. I started putting food in it, like flour and stuff, and then I left it out, and all the ants came and started getting in, and I put like all these like thing to kill them, and then it always smells so bad. I think it was so toxic. Eventually, it broke, and all we have is these amazing photographs left from here. I wanted to show you. This is like a collaboration of like photograph and drawing. So I do mix everything that I can. It just there's really no formula, and I'm open. Like I don't like to be like. I love this quote. Let me turn this off. And I'll share in a bit. But I love this quote from like this movie, and it says something like like I don't painters like I don't some painters just like follow like a little like recipe like making cakes, and you should always I have such a bad
Follow
memory.
the recipe, or
No, like you should like always
oh right,
invent and test, and like don't sell yourself, don't become your own connoisseur. And it was like all
yeah.
about, like testing and new, and how nothing there's no like life
I love
already is
this. I love
boring.
this. There's a notion that I hear a lot from artists that are really creative. It's just like just playing, just dabbling. Like sometimes there's a block. Like so, like if I only have a limited amount of oil paints and a limited amount of canvas, I start thinking like I've got to really plan it because I don't have a lot of materials. But they say that'll hurt your art. Like just pull it out and just start dabbling and just creative, just playing with the materials sometimes, and it creates these breakthroughs. So if you hesitate, almost sometimes it becomes a little the mind block becomes too much.
And I suffer from that too. Like although like sometimes I'll be just like, I'll sit down and I'll be like on these just a practical example. I'm working on a short film right now, an illustrated short film with some of my friends in Mexico. Can't wait for everyone to see it. And
Yeah,
they needed some last minute like drawings of like these watercolor like spots for the back of this. It's about a little boy that needs to wait to get his big tree, and like life reflects art, and I'm all about waiting too. And so I started sitting down and I did it, and it was awful, and I just was stubborn. And then I realized I was like literally the sunset was coming. I had to deliver it. I had to take the photos before it came. So I went out and I started like just like from an album I was preparing, I grabbed some paper and I put it like I put just water. I brought it was outside, it was all raw, and it ended up being this really I can show you this really really
yeah,
cool like thing that assert, and it's just about like kind of like letting go of expectations
yeah.
that you have. Let me
So
see.
if I could restate what I'm hearing you say, it's sort of like you felt constrained by the requirement and the that you had to create something in a certain way or something like that, and it and at some point you just didn't have much time. You just go out and just create quickly, and it turns out really good.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's like experimenting is so much fun, and sometimes you have to remind, I think, yourself. No, there we go. To you have
Oh
to
yeah,
you have to remind yourself to like that not be to just keep like doing that and not be like stuck in the
yeah.
in what you've done before, and just some really cool things like happen then.
And so I've I've had that mindset sometimes, but like for those kind of pieces, I know, and tell me if this is right or wrong, but maybe 8 out of 10, or you sort of throw them away because they didn't turn out very good. But those 2 out of 10, it totally makes the whole thing worth it, because there's sometimes it's just amazing what turns out, and it's not necessarily planned,
Yeah,
but it just looks so organic, or what's the right term? Organic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm no, in my case it's different. Like I'll do like a little drawing on like a little napkin, and
Mm,
I think it's like if I like it, I'm like obsessed with it, and I want to share it with anyone. And I just it's about simplicity. Like I don't do a lot. It looks like I do a lot, but I just like I appreciate every little thing that I do, because if it comes from like a good place in me and makes me feel good, like I feel like there's some connection that's like, and if I feel like I love it, then I feel someone else would love it. Like if you don't love your own work, then what the hell are you doing?
Right, exactly. Would you mind sharing some of that? Like there's a rhino piece on Saatchi or something like that with the
Yeah,
animals. Tell us your focus on animals.
absolutely. Let me go back. Um,
So this is the Saatchi online gallery that Denise has, and yeah, these two, this one and the one below, piqued my interest this morning just because it's another example of um,
yeah,
simple line drawings that become so interesting.
I had this show. I earned like a place in it a few years back in 2013. It's called Confused Rhino with a deer costume, and I was just very proud because there was nothing really like that there, and I just, for the longest, like everyone has a cause, and I mean not everyone, but like a lot of people care about many. There's so many causes and so many things to do, but my like I love this planet. I love nature. I love specifically wildlife because like I love dogs, but dogs are not like endangered. Like
Right.
I want my kids to be able to know that lions exist in this planet and that like polar bears are still surviving, and like even the smallest frogs that we don't care or know about, like it's all part of this huge like world we're living in. Like everything that you like that we are, like the other side connects, and if one thing is not working, then the other one, I think it's
Yeah.
all connected. And so I maybe like 12 years ago when was working in the tequila business, I was like, even wanted to start a nonprofit, but that's not what I'm about. I'm about painting. And I was like, how do I connect this love I have for animals with my art? And so started doing some illustrations, and now I help some organizations I really care about with like the sales of my work.
Amazing. Amazing, and for a great cause. Um,
Okay.
so what goes on in my mind as an artist or an aspiring artist is that when I try to create things like this, and I'm sure you're fully aware, is that unless you've practiced it a lot, or unless you are a child actually, because children don't have this adult way of, the mind takes over, and the adult way of thinking would say, I start drawing that front leg and I would say, of course it doesn't go backwards. I've got to somehow do a design with the leg going frontwards, the little,
Right.
and but then but the beauty of this is that there's things that are, it's like you don't let your adult mind control it, right? Does that
Yeah.
make sense? It
Yeah.
it, it becomes so interesting, and that's why I know Basquiat, became
Hmm.
so famous actually, because a lot of his drawings were sort of breaking that adult way of
Yeah.
making drawings. So I think it's a great talent that you develop, and this
I,
is
I I think that, thank you so much, but I think like I stand like on the on the shoulders of all these giants that were incredible before us, and it's just, of course, like like inspiration. You don't invent like the any like the, what is it, like the black string, like you I am a sponge, and I am part of like every experience that I've had in my life, like has made me, like has made me the artist I am. And I'm completely like, of course, what do you call it? Like manipulated or not manipulated, but like I'm filled with all these like Caravaggio and like Picasso and all these like all these artists that I have, like Edward Hopper, like all these artists that I hugely love, and I feel like there's a place of of them in me and in my art, and I just I am obsessed of reading their biographies because they're like normal people like us, but it's like they did amazing things. And and within the years I've started to like really like love and appreciate more. It took me a long time to like really say, hey, this is what I'm doing and it's of value.
yeah, Yeah, well, I will tell you that I definitely appreciate it. I see the value in it, and I love your work. So,
Thank you very much.
um, and I would love to continue this, but I have to limit these interviews to a certain time limit, and I feel like we should definitely follow up and maybe do it again after a period of time if you're interested. We'll see how it
Absolutely.
goes.
Yeah, and I'll be sure to share my short film once it's ready, so you
Oh yeah,
can see it. And
maybe we
uh,
could do an interview just about that when it comes out if you're okay. If
that's
they give you the rights to do that.
I think so. Yeah, that's perfect. And thank you so much. And I love seeing your work evolve. And I don't think any meeting, like any person you meet, is by accident. So for some reason we met those years ago, and we'll be more in touch. And you
I'm
can
glad I'm glad we've stayed in touch.
perfect. And you can follow my work at Kabuloglu on Instagram. And I'm always posting new things.
Great. All right. Thank you, Denise. So
Thank you.
great to talk to you.
Likewise. Ciao.
Bye.